It was my mom's idea. And she was full of ideas, and I have to admit this was a good one, at least on paper. I was a junior in high school, and I was trying to figure out where I was going to go to school and what I wanted to major in. How about engineering? She said. These words just rolled off of her tongue like she was very familiar with the topic. And I was confused. She majored in fine arts. But you're really good at math and science, she continued. And you can get a great job right out of school, and you're a girl. And that's a plus, because not many girls go into engineering. God, she knew my hot buttons. Because unlike my dad and my grandfathers, who were all doctors, I didn't want to be in school forever. I wanted a degree within a few years I could get out, get a job, and be done with academics. And plus, I was an athlete and a tomboy, so being around guys didn't bother me. The last thing I could relate to was being a girly girl. So I applied to engineering school at Virginia Tech, and I got in. But halfway through, I thought, oh my gosh, can I finish? I mean, classes were tough, sometimes brutal. I mean, there was calculus and physics. I mean, that was bad enough. But thermodynamics and deformables? I mean, are you kidding me? What does that even mean? I was barely able to eke out being a B student, and the idea of graduation seemed like a long ways away. I thought about changing majors, like maybe to business or to communications, but nah. Hardly any of my engineering credits would transfer, and I would be in school forever. That's when I remembered my mom's words. Not many girls go into engineering. I thought, yeah, and not many girls come out. I thought, well, being a female with a technical degree could be an advantage. And so I said, I'm just going to stick with it. And I'm going to finish this, and I'm going to hope that somehow, some way, it all pays off. Now, I decided to do industrial engineering, and contrary to what the label sounds like, it actually is the combination of machines and people. And so I thought, well, maybe it's this human element in this huge technical world that could keep my interest. And to keep my sanity, I promised myself that when I got done, I did not have to be a professional engineer. I could do whatever I wanted. That said, classes were still a drag. Now, in all of our academic careers, we've all had a favorite class and a favorite teacher. Well, I had to wait until my senior year of engineering school to find mine. His name was Dr. Paul Torgerson, or Dr. T, and he taught theory of organizations. He assigned the most right-brained books, like In Search of Excellence by Tom Peters, and another one on organizational cultures. Now, when I read these books, I was hooked. So instead of thermodynamics and deformables, my brain lit up like a carnival. I couldn't wait for every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to go to Dr. T's class and hear him expound upon people systems and organizations and what leadership really looked like and why it all mattered. Well, what would happen is that it would be like, poof, 15 minutes would be up, and I had to get out of there, sling on my backpack, and hightail it across campus to go to my last required statistics class, or as I like to call it, sadistics. They crammed too many kids into this room, there were not enough seats, and our professor would be up on this elevated platform gloating about how he was going to teach us how to lie with statistics. I thought, lovely. But his attitude, I thought, you are not going to stop me from finishing this class and getting my degree. And I did. Graduation day came. My parents were proud. I was proud. And I told them I was not going to be an engineer. What are you going to do? My mom said. shock and disappointment. And I said, I'm going to get a job, any job to pay the bills and get started in something. And that's when I saw an ad in the Washington Post for this small little computer company for an $8 an hour customer service rep. Now you see, we didn't have Monster.com then or CareerBuilder.com then, so I called and called and called and called again. And every time I called, this very pleasant and proper woman answered the phone. Thank you for calling Quantum Computer Services. I would tell her why I called. She'd transfer me, and every single time, no one picked up. I called a lot, but I only left voicemails twice because, I didn't want to be a pest or seem desperate. And I was checking out other companies as well, but nothing was quite coming through. You know that sensation where you're hitting your head up against the wall again and again, it really hurts and it's not working. Yeah, that feeling. Well, I decided before I crossed them off the list, I would call that computer company one more time. Thank you for calling Quantum Computer Services. I asked for the recruiter, and she transferred me. But this time, someone picked up. We had a conversation. She invited me in for an in-person interview, and a few days later, offered me the job. And I thought, great, I'll stay here for 3 months. Thing is, I loved this company and ended up staying 10 years. And in that 10 years, the company grew, became really popular, and changed their name to America Online. So yeah, I started my career at AOL, when AOL was cool. Now, AOL was connecting people online in ways they never could have imagined. I was connecting to myself in ways I could never have imagined. Shortly after I was promoted to a customer service trainer, I received a brochure in the mail for a seminar called In Search of Excellence, based on Tom Peters' work. I went, I loved it, I brought back ideas, and I remembered Dr. T's class. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is the first time all of those things that we talked about were actually coming true in my day-to-day world. Over time, I became the call center manager, then I became the head of corporate training for the company, and I helped to codify what our management training program and our leadership looked like and our organizational culture. And I thought, oh my gosh, people systems, leadership, organizations, these were all the things I first learned in an engineering class of all places. I started to realize, well, maybe I am an engineer. One who helps to design and deliver systems and ideas for people and organizations that make a difference in their day-to-day lives. But I was still not going to wear a pocket protector. Now, Dr. T, he knew none of this. I mean, he had his own path. In fact, after I graduated from Virginia Tech, he went on to become president of the university. And in his term, he restructured the university and put it on the national map that it's known of today. And from the very first year he was at Virginia Tech until he retired 58 years later, every year he taught one class. The class I took, Theory of Organizations. Sometimes, maybe most times, hidden in challenging circumstances is a jewel worth the slog. Maybe you realize a strength you never had. Maybe you realize a passion that's really yours. Maybe you figure out what you were finally really supposed to do with your life. But you won't know it unless you see it through. If I hadn't decided to go to engineering school at Virginia Tech, if I hadn't decided to stay in the program, if I hadn't decided to become an industrial engineer, I never would have gotten to Dr. T's class. Life isn't easy, but it's worth it. Don't give up. Look for the jewel and thank those who help you find it. On and off during the years, I would think of Dr. T and think, I need to reach out and thank him. But I thought, well, but I was one of thousands of kids that he taught, and he was the president of a big university. A few months ago, I got an alumni magazine in the mail, and I was looking through it, and I saw his picture. And the very first thing I thought of was, you know what, I am going to reach out to him now and say thank you. But I read the article, and it said that he passed away literally 3 months before. I was too late. But maybe you're not too late. Who is that teacher, that coach, that parent, that person in your life that helped you figure something out that was so significant? Because chances are you were so engulfed in your circumstances then, slogging it through, you had no idea the gift that they were giving you. Give them the gift now that they made a real difference. It's never too late to say thank you. That was another one of my mom's great ideas. So, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dr. T. And thank all of you for being here tonight. Thank you.